So how do we start? What was the beginning?
Okay, I think the beginning. Let me be a bit academic, but I think the beginning of Gird really goes back to before Gird. You have always had a vision to help people express themselves in different ways, and I know that you've done several businesses that have sort of done that in different ways, like Flavor, if it was the handmade cards or the digital cards, the printed cards, Bani Soro. So you've always had, just like in different forms, the desire to help people communicate better and to do business that helps people express themselves better. And so I would say that that's where Gird started from. But in 2020, what?
2020.
In 2020, you saw an ad on social media for some people were doing a deal. They were selling plain t-shirts and they were doing a deal. I think it was like 10 for an
12.
amount,
Yeah, there were 6 and 12.
6 and 12. And I think you showed me and I was like, oh, I want plain t-shirts because my my wardrobe does not my wardrobe is shirts, trousers, slippers, sneakers. Right. So I was like, oh, I need more t-shirts. And I remember that you said, oh yeah, you know what, I'll buy for you. And so you bought 12. And when you bought it, then you started having ideas. Me, I just wanted to wear plain t-shirts, but you were like, what if we can print something? What if we can customize these shirts, but in a way that is not like Raz, in a way that you can still like rock a jacket? It'll be cool. And then I think you started like ideating around it, doing different designs, and then you came up with this OG that has been replicated or attempted to be replicated across Gladly. And then you came up with it, and we thought it was really cool. And I remember that we did 6 captions. We also wanted the captions to be very exciting
And short.
and short and deep and cool and alte, sort of. And so we did water dispenser, which was about like out of your
Which is the
belly.
shirt I wore in the first video, by the way.
Oh, yeah, I wasn't here. I was all around the world. which is like an allusion to out of your belly shall flow rivers of
Rivers
living
of
water.
Living
What was the
Water.
next?
Word publisher.
Okay,
Water dispenser, word publisher. Spiritual edifice.
spiritual edifice.
Royal priesthood. I can't remember the rest.
Yeah, and so we made those
Worth
shirts.
dying for was among the first sets, and loved by God.
Yeah. And we thought those were so cool, and you were wearing them, I think. And it just so happened that we had planned a staycation vacation
Yeah, and just
with our friends, with our other married friends in Jos. So we had taken the shirts. I mean, you take your new clothes to vacations, right? Right. So we had packed it. You want to say something?
yeah, no, I packed it because I wanted to use the scenery to take pictures.
Oh, not
'Cause
to show off to your friends.
No, not to help me. I didn't. I wore it only for the photo shoots. I kept it back. So yeah, but they saw it, and
Yeah, and we took pictures. It was cool. There was a vintage. I think we took pictures. There was a
Radio.
vintage radio on like in the Just place that we went to. So we used that to take word publisher. I remember you made me take a video of you just walking with the video, and yeah. So that was how we started.
Yeah. That's
Am I
how
supposed
we
to ask you a question?
No. I'm going to continue.
Okay.
So that's how we started. We took pictures, and first of all, my friends who were there, Pastor Dami, Pastor Jaja,
JK,
Pastor JK,
Lady O.
Lady O, Lady Okwe,
Yeah.
Yemi Kesena. They were like, "Oh, this is so nice." They want to get for themselves, and at that point, we didn't have the idea to sell yet. But obviously, for me, once I hear somebody wants something, once they ask me, I already know I'm going to sell it, because I'm just like, if somebody wants it, that means there are more people that want it as well.
Meanwhile, for me, when I hear someone wants it, I'm thinking, okay, how do I start an NGO to give everybody this? You see why we had to go our separate ways?
We had to part ways.
Our business ideology is not. Anyway, maybe more on that. Yeah.
All right, so that happened, and then I figured out, okay, if some people want this, then more people want it. So I figured out we need to work on something. Then we got home, we're trying to figure out something. How can we make this something? And that's where my Ogama co-founder comes in again, because we wanted to figure out a name. Now, thankfully, I had read this book, The Art of the Start by Guy Kawasaki, and the book gave me a guide to, some of the things about naming brands and stuff. And so when we're thinking about the name, I was like, I need something short. I need something that can be verbalized, something that can be, you can have a good nomenclature around. And so we're ideating,
Yeah,
and
I
then
actually remember as clear as day. We were in our Gishiri house. I remember I came out of the room and you were like, let's do this business. I said, let's do it. And they were like, we need a name, we need a name, we need to just start. And I was like, give me a few minutes. And I went back into the room, I closed it, I sat on my bed. I was just like, I need a name now. Inspiration arise.
there are the day.
Where are the day? And I just came out, I was like, gird. And then I think you were just like quiet, you were thinking about it, and then you're like, I like it.
Yeah, and that was the beginning. And then, another thing that another thing that I've also learned over time is, because I'm a designer, so I'm sure many people were very unimpressed with the logo because they were
I don't
expecting.
think people were unimpressed.
I remember when that time they were dragging us on Twitter, now they were like, they should get a real logo. What's this? Anyways, but the long story short is, I knew what was most important. I knew that at that point, it wasn't about a fine logo. It was about creating something, creating a brand that people can identify with. And the easier the elements, the easier the mark that they can identify with, the easier it is to recognize. In fact, the easier it is to replicate, the easier it can be to go viral, because people copying your work actually helps your brand many times in ways that you don't realize. So that's something that I was thinking about, and I was just like, no time, GIRD. I gave it space. I said, it's giving a little luxury, but
giving luxury.
not Louis Vuitton, but luxury. And so black, white, no time for colors. I just did that. What website did we use?
It was a
MailChimp site. It was a MailChimp site. Yeah. We took pictures.
Because we didn't even have money to like get a domain or time. We didn't have money or time to like do domain.
Yeah. And the reason is, I wanted to tell people, go to the website to buy. I didn't want to tell them, do you want to buy? Send me a DM on Instagram. I wanted it to look serious from the beginning. And so
that's great.
We did that. And then first photograph we took was with Maiwa.
Oh yeah.
Maiwa.
What did I
for Red Heather? Yeah, so we gave her that one because it was there with us. Yeah. We gave her that one. It was at the airport. I remember she was going home. I'll show you the picture. We took that picture. That was one of the pictures that was on the header of the website, and 2 other pictures of me from Jos. And so that's how we started Gird. At that time, you won't believe how much the shirt was.
It was 5K.
5,000 naira. Now it's 15K. I'm just like, God, may it not reach 25. May this economy get better. Amen. And let it go down to 1K. Because why not?
I just had like us watching this in like 30 years, and we're like, ha, may it not go to 25.
God, I beg. Help this economy.
Amen. Rise, Naira.
Yeast. Anyway, so yeah, that happened, and then we started it already. So created Instagram accounts. Another thing that I've already learned how to do very well as well is, when a few years ago I started Props Genie. Now Props Genie started from Prizel. Prizel had a wedding in 2016. I attended the wedding. She needed props. I said, I can do it. I did the props. They were nice. And then people were like, this is so nice. This is so nice. And typical me, once I hear people say this is so nice, I'm like, of course, people want to buy. So I go home, I needed a name. So the same thing happened, except this time it was just me. I hadn't met her yet.
Yeah, I was probably had a better name if
I know, right? Two are better than one. And why was I single? Anyways, so I was thinking about the name. I was like, I need something that has props in it, because props are not easy to... I didn't know that much about branding at the time, but I wanted something that had the name props in it. I thought props and all. I saw props and all was gone. I was like, I need something magical. Magic. A genie. Props Genie. I checked, Props Genie was available. Instagram, Twitter, everywhere. And I wanted something that was the same across board. So it's not props _ Genie, then props Genie dots. I wanted something same. So that happened. I created all the Instagram accounts, and then that was it. So, and I've done that many times before. So when this happened, it was very easy to replicate. Created Instagram accounts. Now, this is the funny thing. Our Instagram accounts got disabled more than 4 times.
Yeah, it was crazy.
You know what I kept telling myself? I said, Isaac, no do past this.
Yeah. That was what we just kept
I said, I will reopen until Mark Zuckerberg is tired of me.
Yeah.
So we started from Gird. then Gird Co.
And we would have actually like built up the following, and then
Yeah,
they'll
and then we'll just
just
start
take
again.
it down.
In fact, our Twitter was much better than it was now because something similar happened with Twitter. Twitter is harder to come back on. Anyways,
Yeah, yeah.
so that's how we started. And then we started selling in church, selling online, reaching out to my friends. And one of the easiest things to do, obviously, is to take advantage of your inner circle. So if you're
Community.
trying to build something, ensure that you take advantage of your inner circle.
Right.
So my friends, when I created Instagram accounts, I didn't just post it and I was like, okay, people like. I sent DMs to all my guys. I said, please like, follow, share, like, follow, share, like, follow, share. So that there's an artificial buzz, and that way you're taking advantage of your easiest commodity, which is relationships, and you don't have to pay for that. At least 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 20 people believe in you enough to post and share and like, and just comment, wow, this is fire, even if they've never experienced the brand because they
Yeah.
trust in you.
And it cost them nothing.
It costs them nothing. And you can even give them a discount if you do this. You can't do anything. Just do something. And don't just create your Instagram account or do something and just leave it there, hoping it will rise. When you didn't pour any yeast on it. So this is the yeast. Reach out to your friends and as many people as you can that can help you immediately. So that happened. And then, long story short, we kept on. So it was picking up little by little. And thankfully, because at the time I'd learned enough about branding, I knew enough to be consistent. And then I started to work on the packaging as well. So early at the beginning, we were just packing the shirts inside the nylon. And one of those days I was with someone we're trying to print. And funny enough, can't even remember his name. He was the person that we were producing with because at the time we outsourced our production. And he was like, why don't you put this white A4 cards inside your shirt so that it stays sturdy? I said, that's too much.
Adigun?
No, not Adigun. Okay. I said, that's too expensive. It just doesn't make sense. Just paper, just to make it sturdy. I mean, it looked sweet with the sturdiness. And I was like, why don't we print something on it? If you print something on it, it's not just paper. It's a utility that people can reuse because I've seen people use them for like frames and all of that. So I was like, let's do that.
And it's also like extra branding reinforcement.
Yeah, extra branding material. So that's how we did that as well. And so we started printing. Obviously, it was more cost, but it helped people, have a sense of, I got my Gird shirt, see my...
Yeah, it gives them something to snap.
Yeah,
something memorable.
Something memorable.
Yeah.
And so that happened, and then we kept going. And many things happened until December in 2020, I think. One of the things that worked for us at the beginning was finding captions that people could resonate with, finding captions that meant something to people. What you realize is, look, there's no design. It's not like the graphic design is like Paul Rand type of, it's not about the design. It's about the connection that people can have with it. Can people connect with it on any level?
Right.
That's what you need. So even if the design is great or is not great, I mean, the better the design, the more aesthetically appealing it will be. But it would not take the place of a connection. No matter how fine it is, if people cannot connect with it, they won't buy it. That's just the truth. Apart from that is also the quality and consistency, because that's exactly what makes a brand. The fact that you are consistent. When you see a Gird shirt, one of the things that also helped us was the fact that our consistency was very obvious. And so I can go to Jos or I can go to Kano, see somebody on the road and say, oh, that's a Gird shirt. And here's the interesting thing. There are many people who have similar brands who even use the same font. But because we have a very stringent rule on the kerning, the size, the dimensions, it's still very easy to separate a Gird shirt from one that looks like it.
Yeah.
And that's how branding works.
And just you mentioned something where you said because of how consistent the design was, we're able to even form a community. So people, like you said, people were seeing each other at airports, people were seeing each other on the streets and just waving at each other like, you're Guardian as well.
Yeah.
So I guess that there's something in that for
Definitely. Community.
Yeah.
And I'm going to talk about one of the biggest mistakes that I made in the next video because I wish I picked it up earlier, but I'll share that with you in the next video. I hope you've been able to learn 1 or 2 things on building anything at all, even if it's not a clothing brand. Move as quickly as you can. Focus on the most important things. Get a good name. Try to build a brand as early as possible. Create a community around your brand and ensure that you have a connection with the people, not just a great product, but let it build a connection because people are more emotional than you imagine. And your job is to ride on that and let them build a connection that they are willing to pay money for. My runaway co-founder. See you later,
See
ma.
you next time.
All right. Thank
Bye.
you.